Hi everyone, my name is Stray. So for this video, I wanted to go over how our families and our upbringing affected who we date and who we choose to be our friends. I have some notes on this one because I feel like this is a very important topic and I don't want to miss anything. So I feel like this is a known topic by now where we know that whoever raised us or whoever we grew up with really does have a big play on who we end up dating, what type of friends we have, and the patterns that we're used to. Just because we grew up with that, we tend to pick that. And I want to share how some of the examples what like my parents did that affected the type of friends I would choose to be friends with and the type of people I would date. Um, so a lot of the times I really wanted to please my parents growing up. And then I ended up picking friends that I wanted to please, like where things were one-sided, where it was kind of about them and never really about me. And I had this one controlling friend, let's call her Sarah. I met her in high school and it was a strange friendship. She felt the need to tell me what to do all the time, like who to date, who to befriend, um, what college classes to take, what type of laptop to take, because she felt like my life needs to revolve around her. And this person had a dream of being a singer and getting a record label. Cool. I support that. But at the same time, they were literally telling me, you're going to go on tour with me, so pick a laptop that's like a tablet because you're gonna need something functional. This person had no record label yet, no indication of meeting with any record label, no nothing. And they're telling me I'm gonna go with them and I need to do they literally said pick online classes because you're gonna be touring with me. Again, no indication that they're gonna get a record label. And this person even was like, you can't bring guys because I don't want to hear you hooking up with another guy. And I'm just like, and again, this is a platonic friendship. We were not romantic whatsoever. And they're telling me what to do and what they approve of something they don't even have. That's crazy. And even if you have a record label, why do I have to go tour with you? What is that? So you can have a friend to talk to all the time, and then I have to take only online classes and then miss out on a college experience because of your aspirations? Crazy. Anywho, this kind of goes back to my parents. They're very controlling, very much dive a little deep into Asian culture. Children are expected to be obedient of their parents, and you kind of just are expected to do whatever your parents say. And for a while, I was like that with my parents. I would just be quiet, and I just listened to them, and I do what they thought was good for me. And in our culture, we have arranged marriages where your parents are expected to pick your partner for you because they believe that your parents know best and they know what their child should marry and they have to approve. Um, there's no really dating or courting. There's just like this is how my parents got married. In Cambodia, my dad saw my mom somewhere. I think because she sold jewelry, like he saw her and he found her attractive. He didn't really know her. He might have talked to her a little bit. And he just found out who the family was and asked her hand in marriage, and you go through like this interview with the family and then they say yes or no, like, and then the child has to marry them. That's how my parents got married. It wasn't based off of even getting to know them slightly or anything like that. So I think my parents were treated that way, so they expected to treat me that way, right? Like, you do what you were taught. And yeah, it trickled into having my friends control me, or I tend to pick friends that I wanted to please, and I subconsciously didn't even know I was doing it. I wanted them to be happy, and if that meant me doing things for them, I would do it for them. And I subconsciously did this. Like, I didn't know I was doing this, but as an adult now, I understand that like that was probably something stemming from my parents. So fast forward to how this trickled into my relationships. I would pick a lot of men who used a lot of abusive words, and I also would be abusive with my words as well. We were always argumentative. And in my household, it was very normal to argue. It was very normal to lash out. It was very normal to raise your voice and just yell at each other over the smallest things. Like, for example, my dad brought rice out of my mom's car into the house thinking it was helping her. And she was yelling at him, like in a really loud voice, being like, I meant to bring that to work. Why would you do that without my permission? Blah, blah, blah. And there was no communication. There was no, hey, I didn't ask you to do that. Can you put that back? There was none of that. There was no calmly talking about it. There was no like, I didn't like that you did that. It was just rashing each other and coming at each other and being like, you should know better. Like, shame on you. And they did that to each other. So, me witnessing that type of relationship growing up, when I dated someone where we argued all the time, it was okay for me. It was normal. It's familiar. It's what I'm used to. It's what I grew up with. Um, and sometimes we might prefer this over a healthier relationship because our brains are wired to like this. You know, just like food, for example, in Asian culture, everybody eats rice for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and for snacks. So, as compared to someone else who eats pasta all the time from Italy, we might not even like rice because it's good. We might like it because that's what we grew up with and what we were taught. Same thing with pasta. Why does everyone in Italy like pasta? That's the food. That's the country's food. Their dish. Therefore, do you even really like pasta? Or is it because that's what you were brought up with and that's what you prefer because it's familiar? So, a lot of times we might pick toxic energy within friendships or relationships because that's all we know. That's all we were taught. It we don't know anything else. So we don't oh I don't think we want something different sometimes. I don't think we want something peaceful because our brains are not wired to accept peace. It's not wired to want peace. It's not wired that way. Just like how naturally I kind of do prefer white rice in my meals because that's what I was brought up to like. I kind of want to go over, so like, how did I change this? Because obviously I'm not in the same situation as I used to be, and I always want to focus on how to overcome things. So I noticed my own patterns. I noticed when friends seemed to be self-centered, I would watch, right? Like, I had a friend that I realized was not the best friend. Every time we planned to hang out, this person lived 15 minutes away from me, and always had to be in their town. It always had to be right after 5 when they get out of work, and it had to be kind of near where they worked. And every time we made some plans, they always canceled, never followed through, and it ended up being a year of never meeting up. And never would they agree with me to go somewhere else that's further away from their town or on the weekends. Like, it was insane. And I was just like, why does it always have to be on your terms? It's been a year. How have we not met up? Is this even a friendship? And it's not even a long distance friendship. You live 15 minutes away from me and we can't see, and you're always the one canceling? That's not okay. And I realized, like, this person's not my friend. This person doesn't put in the same effort as me. This is not someone I want to keep around. This is not someone that truly values me, because if they did, they would put into some effort, right? Outside of their I get out of 5 schedule. That's ridiculous. And they thought it was okay also to not respond to me for like 6 months. That's fine. But then when I didn't respond to them for 1 month, they removed me all of social media. So it's like, that's not fair. So you can do it, but I can't? Okay. I see how self centered this friendship really is. Because it's okay for you to dub me. It's okay for you to hurt me. It's okay for you to do what you want on your terms. But when I do it back, and not even for as long as you did, you feel some type of way. Not a good friend. Um, and I watch for, patterns in my old toxic relationships in my new one. So like, oh, here's a good one actually. So I dealt with someone who would ghost me. We weren't in an official relationship. We were always in the stupid talking stage, But this person literally ghosted me from weeks to months. That's on me. That's my fault. But I connected this with my parents. My parents, when they're mad at each other or mad at me, they would give me the silent treatment and we would go days or weeks not talking to each other. So I thought, like, I subconsciously thought that was normal. I thought it was normal for someone to just disappear on me and come back when they please. And literally, when my parents would talk again or when we would make up, it was never like we never talked about the problem. We just talked and pretended everything is fine and pushed things under the rug. And that's what emulated in that relationship with that I had that with that person. And yeah, I tolerated ghosting for months. So that really goes to show what you're used to as a child really does manifest as an adult and what you're willing to accept and think is okay. Um, everybody, I don't think I told many people about this relationship where this person kept ghosting me, but I'm pretty sure most people would say this person isn't taking you seriously. They don't want to be with you if they can go months without talking to you, right? But for some reason, I was like addicted to this type of on and off thing. Uh, Again, maybe it's a little bit of people pleasing where I wanted to please the person and make them like me. Someone who didn't like me, I wanted them to like me. My I'm used to people disappearing on me and coming back as if nothing happened. So I think that's a big reason why I tolerated that. And this, honestly, this is so embarrassing, but this went on for 3 years. I didn't wait for them, like I still would date other people, but I allowed them back in as if it was okay. And we never addressed it ever. And it's crazy when I look back on it. Like, I allowed this person to come back in and out for 3 whole years. What? I would never now, but I did at one point. One last note, when you pay attention to the little things people do or don't do, they show you who they really are usually. This is a big one because if you look at the small things people do, they show you their character in little crumbs. One example I'm going to use is a girl I met who I didn't really know, but I decided to go on a trip with her and her friends because I wanted to travel. I was like, why not? And I started to see how she acted with her friends. Like, she would let her boyfriend bully one of her closest friends, insult her friend, and things like that. She would constantly nitpick that friend and like just say a lot of things that really were not necessary. Like one time she was like, "Oh my gosh, she's so clumsy. She's always dropping her phone." And I'm like, "Bro, it's not that serious. It's her phone. Let her do whether she wants with it. Like, I don't think we need to make a big deal out of it." So at this time I was heavier and she literally was laughing at my weight. So we were all trying to get into this car and there was like one, including me, two, three, four, five, six, 7 people, I believe, at this time. We were all trying to get into this SUV. 7 people. And there was, 2 seats in the front, and then 3 people could fit in the back. So what happened was, the 2 boyfriends sat here, and their girlfriends sat on their lap, and then there was one person in the middle, and they let me go into the passenger side. And I literally watched this girl bicker to her boyfriend, being like, "Why does she get to sit in the front?" And her boyfriend calmly explained to her, and I know it was because like, oh, because Stray's a little bit bigger, which is fine. Like, I'm not upset that I was bigger. Like, realistically, I don't want to be squished either, right? And she started laughing. She started laughing right in front of me, and I'm just like, you can't even hide it. You can't even hide the smirk or the laughter. She was cuckling. I was pissed. I didn't say anything yet. We go to the dinner and they're sitting right across from me. And I wanted to kind of reiterate, like, hey, I'm sitting in the front, right, guys? Like when we're leaving. And her boyfriend's like, yeah, you can have the front seat. It's fine. And she's in the corner, and I'm like, I'm right here. You're not even gonna hide it. Like it's crazy to me how some people don't even hide how mean they are. But which was good because then I was able to know, like, you're not it. You're not the friend I need to have, and you're not someone I want to be close to. And I really didn't like the bullying. Like, like, as I'm pretending I'm talking to this girl, you wouldn't be happy if my boyfriend was nitpicking at you and bullying you, right? So why would you let your boyfriend do that to that other girl? who's supposedly your best friend. And I understand if they just don't get along, but it was really over petty things. Like they were making fun of their friend just because she didn't know how to turn the shower on in the hotel that we had. It's not that serious. Why are we making it like as if we're in middle school and like, oh my God, look at her. She doesn't know how to turn the shower on. Oh my God, she always drops her phone. Oh my goodness. Like there's so many things to kind of worry about in life. And this is what we're going to be doing. So this girl, I wrote her off. I was like, she's not a good friend. She's not someone I want to keep around. And I was right because the mutual friends that we have, like the friends that I met this person through, would tell me the things that she still does and she's still mean. And they would make a lot of excuses for her saying like, oh, it's because of her boyfriend. That's why she's rude. No, no, it's her boyfriend and her. She's allowing her boyfriend to do this. She's okay with it. What do you not get about that? And she's also laughing at me. Um and I've had that mutual friend confirm like, oh yeah, she treated me how she treated you, etc., etc. You just got to know at face value how people are. You really got to watch the small things people do. And again, actions speak louder than words. She didn't come up to me being like, haha, you're overweight. But she was, you read body language, you can kind of hear and see what people are doing and you can fill it in, right? We're not dumb, we're adults, like we get it. And um one thing I noticed about certain friendships, like some indications where you can ask, like, are you always the one driving to them? Are you always the one contacting them? Are you always the one making plans for them? Is it reciprocated? You don't need to keep a tit for tat tally mark, but it needs to be reciprocated. It can't be just one sided. Like, that's not fair. I shouldn't be the only one driving to you and wasting my gas on you. Why can't you do that for me? I find that rude. Um, just watch out for that. And that's a case by case situation. You really have to gauge that and see is are they delivering the way you deliver? And I don't and okay, let me also go into detail about this. It doesn't have to be exact exchange. You give a gift to someone that costs $200. It doesn't mean they need to give you a gift that costs $200. They can give you a gift within their affordability, and that's like what, $25 because that's all they can afford. That's fine. That's fine. So I don't mean like exact exchange. I just mean like, are they as thoughtful as you are with them? Like you're checking up on them and how they feel. Do they ever check up on you and how you feel? You listen to them vent about all of their heartbreaks. Are they there for you when you're hurt? Like it's not fair that you're always doing it and they're not. Let's see some other questions that I have that you can kind of think of as this person like reciprocating it. Do they only contact you when they need help and not just to hang out? Do they see you as a crisis friend? Do you only hear from them when something bad happens to them, when a breakup happens, when they lost their job, and then they never hang out with you just to hang out with you because they love your company? You're not a therapist. They're not even paying you for this. Why do you always have to be there for them when they have a crisis? That means that they just see you as, they know you're good to give advice and they know that you're a good-hearted, loving person and that's all they want from you. That's not a good friend either. That's not a friendship. That's not an equal exchange. And I definitely had friends like that. And I had to cut that out of the bud. That one toxic friend, they literally would ask me to mediate their arguments with their partner, which I thought was insane. Um, in the beginning, because I was a people pleaser, I was like, okay, I'll talk to them. But every fight they had, they would come to me and say, can you talk to this person for me? Oh my God, my significant other and I are fighting. And at one point I was like, I can't keep doing this for you. Like, this is too much for me. Because when you guys make up, you guys buy each other gifts. I don't get a gift. You guys say I love you to each other. I don't get an I love you. You guys get benefits from each other physically. Not that I want that from you, but I don't get it either. Like, where's my gift? Where is it? Where's my freaking lollipop? um, but I even told them like, this is getting too much. Like, I can't keep doing this for you. This is your relationship. It's not mine. And they would literally step over my boundaries and try to keep asking me, like, can you talk to my partner for me? And I'm like, but I told you no. What don't you understand? I already told you. And they kept doing it after I said no. So that was a very much one sided friendship where they used me when they were having a crisis. And it wasn't so far reciprocated for me because they weren't on call with me when I needed someone to talk to, but they expected me to be on call with them, not only on call for them, but to talk to their partner, which is not my job. And that's really strange to have other friends talk to your partner for you. If you don't know how to communicate with your partner, there's something wrong in that relationship if you need five other people to convince them of your point of view. That's not a good communicating relationship, and you guys need to reassess if you should even be together if you constantly need another party all the time. That's not fair. Um and I guess one thing that you can try is if you pull back, will you ever hear from them? Like if you don't respond right away and if you're not always communicating like, "Hey, let's hang out," will they even ask you to hang out? That's a kind of good indication to see if someone is even willing to put in the work that you're willing to. Like if you're always the one being making plans, just fall back a little bit and see if they're willing to do in that effort and see that you're missing, and that's how you can kind of see like, you know what, this person does care about me. They noticed I was gone and they're willing to put in effort. Or you realize they never talk to me now. They don't care. And they're not going to put the effort into it the way you were. So why should you continue it? Why? Right? And yeah, I like those are some few tips that I've acquired for myself when I meet new people and new friends and to distinguish if this is someone I want to be friends with or not. Um and again, like I just want to remind you guys that it's okay that we met toxic friends and had toxic friendships and toxic relationships because as someone who grew up in a very toxic environment where arguing was normal every day pretty much, like, side note, I remember sleeping over a friend's house and waking up, and then everybody was happy, and we were baking cookies, and I was like, "Wow, look how peaceful this home is." Like, I didn't wanna leave. I didn't wanna go back home because back home, we're always arguing over the pettiest things. Like, I'm always getting criticized for something. My parents are always at each other for something. They're always ignoring each other for something stupid, and I was like, "Wow, we're baking cookies. Families actually do that." um, so I know it's hard to like unlearn things and to be like, oh, well, it's all I'm used to. But you really have to put in the work and effort. Anything in life, you have to put in work and effort to like retrain your brain. Kind of like one of my habits is like eating super late, which caused to a lot of weight gain. Like I would eat like right before bed, like sometimes like a whole fast food burger, and that led to a lot of weight gain. So I just had to replace it with like a better, healthier choice because I couldn't do it cold turkey in the beginning. Like realistically, you're not going to. So I would replace it with like an apple, something healthier, carrots, oranges, right? I know that's the sugar. Sorry, we're not going to a health video, but like it was still healthier than a damn burger. Um, And I kind of want to say that into the idea of unlearning our parents' traits. Like, it's going to feel weird in the beginning to let go of toxicity because that's what we're normal, like our normal day was. It's going to be hard to, like, for me, it was hard to let go of that guy who was ghosting me all the time because it was almost like the chase of, like, um, oh, if I get him to like me, I'm valuable or something. Because in a way, that's what I emulated as a kid when I was young. Yeah, not healthy at all. Um, and again, just pay attention to the small little things people do. And they usually show themselves. And because you can't hide everything all the time, you really have to be a good actor for that. Like it comes out, it comes out eventually, and it comes out in small little tidbits. Take note of the little tidbits and take note of it and learn when to be like, this is not the friend that I want because and it shouldn't be so dramatic where they betray you, right? For you to realize they're not a good friend. You should be able to pick up these little small subliminal things. Watch how they treat the people around them. Watch how they treat waiters. Watch how they treat their significant other, how they talk to their significant other. Do they belittle them for no reason? Are they rude to waiters? Like, actually, that was actually one girl I knew. She was like really mean to a waiter because they didn't have things in stock. Like every time we would order something, they were like, "Oh, we're out of that." And she literally was just like, "What do you guys even have?" And I was like, "That's not the waiter's fault. That's like inventory management." What? Like the waiter isn't responsible for what's in the kitchen. They're just here to wait for you and give you food. And she literally docked her tip because of that, which I thought was crazy because the waiter was actually really friendly. And it's not their fault that they don't have it in stock. Like that's the manager that orders the correct things that has it in stock. And we also went later in the day where things run out, right? Depending how popular the items are. Um, and that was when I was like, okay, red flag. I didn't cut her off completely right there, but that's an indication of like, wow, okay, you're rude to someone who didn't do anything mean to you. And she said it in the nicest way possible. Like, I'm sorry, we don't have that anymore. She didn't say, we don't have that anymore. So why are you docking her tip because of what the management didn't do? Um, and their significant others is a big way. Like if they're abusive towards their partner, what makes you think they'll treat you any better? You know, like if they're constantly in a toxic relationship with their partner in a way and they think that's normal, most likely they'll think it's normal to treat you that way too. Um, and I hope you see these small little things. I hope you do because it helped me a lot to just have a more peaceful circle, to surround myself with people that actually treat me well and reciprocate the love that I give them. Um, so hopefully this video helps you guys with unlearning our toxic habits from our family members just because it seems familiar and understanding that it doesn't have to be our norm anymore. Thank you for watching this far, and I hope you guys have a nice day.